and welcome to the Four Words Podcast. My name is Aaron Doom Spikinator Harris, and I am joined by only two disgusting, horrible Zach Boblets. Frostbite is not here this week, but I am joined by Scott Haberdashing Sesterhan.
Yeah, that's me. I admit it.
And Michael Asdrish Matthews.
Yes, I am a blob.
Also known as Interwebs Jesus. And thank you so much for joining us live. Join us live at twitch.tv/TForce Podcast every Thursday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time now. And let's hop right into the news here. So first, news. Join us at twitch.tv/TForce Podcast this Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are doing our fundraiser stream for PAX. We are going to be going to PAX East, and we need money to be able to do that. Your Patreon support has helped a ton, and this is kind of a last fundraising push so that we can have more swag to give out and have lots of cool stuff there. And we've got some really cool plans, but in order to do it, it's going to take money, and we need your resources to be able to do it so that we can provide a great experience there and not be bankrupt to the network doing this. So please, if you can donate anything at all, even if you can't, just come join us for some fun. Twitch.tv/TForce Podcast, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time this Saturday. That is Saturday what's the date there? Saturday 26th.
Yes.
Yep. Saturday
2
the 26th.
days from now. Yeah.
Yep. And it's going to be a hell of a time. I will not be there, unfortunately, because I have family coming in, and Frostbite's going to be out of town. But representing the Four Words team, we're going to have Scott Haberdashing Sestrin and Michael Asdrish Matthews.
I will definitely be there as long as I'm not too drunk.
I will definitely
or hungover.
I will definitely be there.
And anything you guys donate is going to affect the games. So you can donate to have people build specific items. Everyone back at a certain time. Everyone force a certain build.
Everyone
people
does
play certain
Frozen
champ.
Mallet. Nothing but Banner of Command and Zerat Portal.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, whatever you want. So please show up, chip in on the fun. It's going to be lots and lots of fun of crazy games. So, please come, please watch, please have fun with us. And if you're feeling charitable, help us provide an awesome experience at PAX. And if you can't be at PAX this year, we hope that you can come next time for sure, because I think that this is going to become a regular thing for us. So anywho, let's also send in questions. Last little bit of news. We do have quite a few questions right now, but we're going to finish them off here in this episode. So keep sending us questions. We always like to have a nice stockpile of questions from you guys so that we always have something to talk about.
Can never really have enough.
No.
Absolutely. And from there, we're going to go into our trinket tip. So our trinket tip is about drinking as you engage. And no, I do not mean alcohol, although I'm drinking some pretty damn good whiskey right now.
I wish I had some whiskey.
I got brandy.
It's close.
Yeah, it's close. But drink as you engage. So basically, with all potions, the idea is that you're going to take some damage in a trade, okay? You're going to take some damage if you're going in to trade or going in just after your opponent at all, going in for after, your jungler's ganking or whatever. So what you want to get in the habit of is start the potion as you start the trade. And this ensures a few things. What it does is, one, afterwards, health-wise, than you were at the start of it. It also ensures that you're gaining health back as you're losing health, so it helps mitigate damage and increases your survival chances. And even if you get locked up, the potion is already rolling, so it's not like getting stunned or anything like that isn't going to stop the potion from giving you health. So as long as you're starting that as you go in, it's going to help you a lot. Also, it will keep you from being as low at the end of the scuffle or the end of the trade. And sometimes just by proper potion management, you can win out a trade, not even necessarily because of your skills in like how you rotate. Like you guys could go even up for the actual amount of damage that you did to each other. But by you having that potion rolling, it can ensure that you won the trade.
Yeah.
Also,
yeah, I mean,
yeah. Go ahead.
A quick comment on that as well. If you pop the potion early, if the enemy has Ignite and they see that you popped that potion, there's a chance that they're going to want to mitigate that, as they're going to probably be going into this trade as well. And depending on how low you are, it may be a full all-in. So if you see them pop Ignite on you as you pop that potion, it may be prudent to back off, as if you think that you're going to engage on that. As soon as you pop the potion, he may see that and throw Ignite on you. So be careful of that. Be mindful. Probably don't fight if you have Ignite on you.
yeah, I mean, as long as you're not dying in that trade, you pop a potion, you're mitigating up to 150 damage within that single trade. So you got that on your side, and that's just assuming like a base potion without like biscuits or any other healing effects going into it. So it really does help you assert your dominance. So early on in lane, coming out of that trade, you're not looking worse for wear going into the next one. It's better to stay higher in health in lane if you can really help it.
And it also plays a psychological effect as well. I mean, how often do you see, like, you're in a trade and the guy popped a pot and you're, like, trying to do damage to him? He's just not having it. And you're like, well, shit, I can't do this. So you back off. He gets a couple more attacks on you as, you know, you're making your way out. And all of a sudden, he definitely won that trade because he popped a pot and you didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, it's especially important if you're running Corrupting Potion, which is really one of the more go-to starting items for people if you're not exactly sure what to buy or
if
just want to get through laning phase.
Yeah, if you're top, it's basically a must buy. If you're mid, it's a pretty damn good buy.
It's really good in jungle too. I mean, it's awesome in jungle.
Yeah, I mean,
Corrupting?
Yeah,
no, the other one.
Not
the
not
refillable,
but you can get it. Like,
I always start with refill. I always start with a refillable potion. I don't.
The one that gives you an extra charge on big monster.
The hunters?
Yeah, that one.
Oh, you're talking about Hunter's potion. Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah. We could talk a lot more about the hunters potion.
Yeah,
but
maybe we'll talk about that one next week. But back to Corrupting Potion, though. The cool thing about Corrupting Potion is that you can pop it anytime, even if you're full on health. So it's nice to pop that as you go in for a trade because it provides that extra dot damage on your attacks and abilities. So by weaving your attacks between your abilities and popping that, it's going to maximize your damage, and making sure that you do that right at the start of your trade is going to ensure that you get the most damage out of it. And winning trades up top, that's kind of the whole point of Corrupting Potion top, is that it's going to help you win trades. Even if you're one of those tankier champs like a Nautilus that doesn't necessarily do like, you know, Fiora levels of damage early on. The nice thing about him is when you weave in his attacks with his abilities and that dot from the Corrupting Potion, he can do a significant amount of damage in that 12 seconds. So, but I mean, from there we'll kind of we'll go on it, and we're gonna so for our item breakdown, it's not really an item breakdown, but we're going to talk about Hextech crafting. It's a new thing that popped in.
Kind of is a breakdown.
Kind of, yeah, it's a breakdown. Not necessarily an item, but we're going to have Azurishan hop into that. So take it away.
I think actually Haber wrote this one.
Yeah, I mean, I can do this.
I'm sorry.
So the
familiar with it
Hextech
than I am.
crafting system has been live here for what, 2 patches
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
right?
Excluding this
Yeah.
one that literally just came out.
Right.
It would be 1, but yeah, including this one, 2 patches.
So it's similar to a lot of other things like in CS:GO or TF2. And it really is just now from playing games, you can get keys and chests for Hextech crafting to get more loot. So the chests that you get they're tied to the mastery system. So whenever you or a party member earns an S minus, or S plus in a game, you unlock a chest, and you can get up to 4 chests per month this way. Another caveat to this is that you can only get 1 chest per champion per season on in all this stuff. So that even means like if you're not the one to get the S in that game, it still counts towards your champion.
That's kind of a
So I mean, you're still getting free stuff
guess.
at the end of the day.
But, yeah.
So yeah, like if Doom was playing Yorick in the jungle and as the Rishan got the S plus on Lux and mid, it still counts towards Doom's Trundle. Right. I mean, sometimes you get an S minus. Let's not be.
That's true.
Let's not brag too much here.
Sorry. My bad.
So yeah, you get 4 chests per month that way, and then the keys you get from matchmaking. There's a chance to drop them, and the chance increases based on the amount of people in your party. So this is another way Riot also tries to incentivize playing with more people. That and the RP. Sorry, IP. Wow. I was going to the next point is that both of them can be bought either as a package with RP as well if you don't want to wait around for it. So things that you can get from the chest include champion shards, cosmetic shards, summoner icons, ward skins, cosmetic and champion essences, and rare gemstones, and even stuff like previous loot. So those shards that you get from the crafting system, let's say you get a shard for a skin. Now you can use that shard right away and spend it to get access to that skin for 1 week. You can disenchant it for essence, and the essence is based on the RP value of the shard. You can also upgrade it into a permanent item by spending essence on it, which is also based on the RP value. Or you can recombine it or re-roll it with 2 other shards to create a permanent unlock.
Okay, so since we're on the topic of loot, I want to know what you guys got for your first skin.
The first one it gave me was Super Teemo, so I disenchanted it.
Everybody gets 1. You disenchanted it? That's fucking legendary.
That's a.
But I don't
Teemo.
play Teemo.
Who cares?
I just don't play him.
Goodness.
I don't play
I'm
him.
a skin collector, so I have over 150 freaking.
I don't play him. I
don't
want it. Like I'm hoping for like a Rek'Sai or maybe a Trundle skin or something like that. A Maokai skin.
I got Dread Knight Nasus. Yeah.
Oh,
Nothing.
and you guys got lame
but
ones. I got
still,
Riot Kale.
Yeah, I'm still
Ooh.
holding on to it.
Yeah.
Damn.
You know, there's no point in disenchanting it right away. You can always disenchant it later.
Yeah.
So
I just took the freaking Riot Kale and ran. So I was like, Riot's hell yeah.
Oh yeah, no. You can use those shards that you get from either disenchanting or from your loot to. Sorry, wow. The essence that you get, you can either get champion or cosmetic essence. They're both different and separate. You can't use one for the other. And if you actually are someone that owns all the champions and you keep getting shards and essences for that, there's really nothing you can do about it right now. But Riot has said they have plans in the future to allow you to spend those for something.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Okay.
I'm hoping you could trade it. I haven't gotten any yet, but I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what they have planned for it. And also the last thing that you can get from the loot is gemstones. Now these are a pretty rare drop at the moment, and they are used.
You can get gems.
Yes, you can get gems.
Gems.
They're used for exclusive content or additional chests. So you can make a chest and key combo out of them, or
Okay.
if you get 10 gemstones, you can forge a Hex Tech Annie, and
Whoa.
probably there's going to be more skins along that line that come out later on.
Haber, that sounds truly outrageous.
Thank you. We're not
Truly.
watch. There's
outrageous.
there's going to be a Hex Tech Tark skin, and you can only unlock the new Tark with the Hex Tech stuff.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know that they'd
Yeah.
go that far with it, but maybe the skin.
You never know.
They like their
Last thing, you can also later on here they're planning to have premium chests, which you can buy for RP, which will drop gemstones. So if you're someone that really wants that one Hex Tech skin, you can still spend buku amounts of money to get it.
Buku. Oh my goodness! Someone go to Jersey.
What? I have always used the word buku.
I don't think I've ever heard you say the word buku before.
Maybe not on the show, but I say buku all the time. You know, buku this, buku
Oh,
that.
goodness. I say hella. I say hella.
Yeah.
But that's because I'm actually from California.
So yeah,
You guys are both
spend
fucking lame.
hella money,
I
hella
thought
dollars.
Money.
I thought I was the
Hella
old dad here. Jesus.
Wait.
You are the
I don't
old dad
understand
here.
what hella has to do with anything about age
Hella's old.
or
It's
paternity.
it's like a 20-year-old term, really, at least.
That's funny because I did start saying it when I was 5.
Wow, your mom must be so proud of you.
Uh,
Oh boy.
which
So
Anyway.
Hex Tech, have fun with it. That's it. I got nothing else on it.
yeah,
All right.
I like it. Yeah, it's interesting. That's for sure.
Right. I mean, you can't really complain about getting more
Yeah, that's true.
free stuff, honestly.
But
My
I
has
can't-
league changed.
The system is broken, lol. God.
All right, moving on to
Yeah.
to our actual
So-
content today, which is listener questions.
We have a plethora right
Thank you,
now,
Gary.
so
Yeah.
we're passing the savings on to you.
Oh, geez.
Oh, wow. Okay. So let's start it out here. We got a question from Spencer. He says, "Hey guys, I'm a new listener to your show, but I've been playing League for almost 5 years now, and I love
Hey,
your
bud.
podcast so far. I
Thank you
consider
much, man.
myself
See,
a
I just want to interrupt there. This show is not just for new players, and I think that goes to help show it. There are a lot of things that even bitter old vets forget or need some tuning up on. So,
Yeah.
like us.
like yeah.
indeed.
Yep.
I consider myself a pretty average League of Legends player. I've been playing level 30 for several years, but I haven't really played much ranked. In my normals and solo queue, my win rate hovers right around the normal 50% or so. I'm rarely the best or worst player in most of my games. When I queue up with my friends, though, who are newer to the game, we seem to lose about 80% of our games. Shouldn't matchmaking compensate for them and give us fair competition? Do you think the matchmaking penalty for pre-mage is too great? Is there any advice you have for me to make these games go better? Oh my
Oh.
god, love this.
Okay, yes.
That's a good-
So-
that's a good question.
So go ahead, Doom.
I'm sorry. There's a lot that goes into this, but one of the big things you have to remember is that even if let's say you have the rainbow. Okay, let's just talk in a perfect world. You have the rainbow. So you have a bronze, you have a silver, you have a gold, you have a plat, you have a diamond player. Okay, let's just assume that you could run into the issue. You could run into an issue where your bronze friend is head-to-head with the diamond player. It takes an account like a general elo, like a general MMR, for everyone. So like the average MMR, the mean tends to be, is pretty on point, and those are pretty close. But the problem is that sometimes the actual lane matchups are really bad due to the difference in MMR. So it can be kind of difficult there. You can't always guarantee that you're going to be matched against the person that's necessarily like even with you. So that's part of it.
I mean, I've gone through this exact same thing. You're starting out, you want to get new people in that are your friends that want to play. So obviously when they're on, you want to play with them, but they don't know anything about the game. So at your average play level, bronze, silver, playing with them, Doom's right. You're going to be matched up around, level 20, 25 people who have a better handle in the game. And you put that along with the fact that at the bronze, silver level, you don't know exactly how to carry a full team by yourself every game. So yeah, you will end up losing 80% of your games. Honestly, that is just kind of how it works out. I went through the exact same thing. We lost nearly every game when we were trying to get our friends to start playing it. But I mean, as far as like how to make it better, you really can't focus on the winning and losing, or it's gonna take you down.
Right.
You gotta just focus on like, hey, we're here to make these guys better, and eventually they'll get to our level and maybe even like get better than us. If we're just playing with them.
To be completely honest, if you're playing with a bunch of people that are brand new, you're always gonna lose. I'm just gonna straight out admit that right now.
Oh yeah.
I've done that. I've played this game just as longer than you actually. I just hit my 6-year anniversary, so I've been playing this game for a very long time, and I obviously have played with a lot of new players. And the general consensus I've come to is that when you play with a lot of new players and you yourself are not new, you are almost always going to lose exactly how you said it. Now, the people you play with can be okay with that, but if that isn't what they want, if they want to just play their own game, you don't need to feel that kind of pressure. Like, yeah, you encourage them to play the game, and yeah, you want to play with them, but maybe play with them on an individual basis, just you two, not as a group of all new players. Like, you can play with each player and be like, hey, I'm going to play with my buddy Sean. Hey, I'm going to play with my buddy Jake. Hey, I'm going to play with my buddy Matt this game, instead of all of you together, just because it does make things better. I promise you that. It's hard playing with a bunch of new players.
It really is, and like you have to, one thing I found, because I a while ago I had some probably about a year and a half ago I got some good friends of mine into the game, and I was having that issue, and this is kind of when I really started to play jungle a lot, but I was having that issue to where, and it's a little different now with the matchmaking system, but I was having a similar issue back then where my my friend, we were losing and stuff like that. But then what I started doing personally, and it helped me, like I had started really playing jungle a lot. So I just had all of them take lane positions, and I took the jungle, and the jungle can affect the game as a whole probably more than any other position. So I would try to find those really safe junglers that had good early ganks, to like J4 and Vi, and I would just immediately, as soon as I hit level 3, I'd gank a lane. And I just kept doing that and started trying to help get my buddies ahead and show them kind of what it's like to play ahead. And I tell my buddies ahead of time too sometimes. So I would go, all right, so I'm not going to gank your lane. So I want you to see what it's like to try to hold the lane on your own. Like if you're not getting ganks, I'm going to gank your lane a lot. And I want to show you what it's like to have good jungle support, and use it like as a teaching opportunity for them too. Don't be afraid to be like, hey, let me show you some stuff. Hey, this is how you got shit on in lane, and record those games too. Encourage your buddies to get like plays.tv. All of you guys have plays.tv, and record those games and start looking at the games and start saying, okay, where did I mess up? What was I screwing up? What were you screwing up? And let's start looking at our play so that we can get you guys, on par and doing better faster. So if it's really that much of a concern for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with Mike, what he said before. But I mean, sometimes you'll feel you just need to take a break from playing with them.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
It was like I forget, it was probably like 2-3 years ago, and it was me and a buddy of mine that had been playing for a while, and we got two of our other friends to start playing, and yeah, we still lost a shit ton. So after a while, I mean, I just said to him, dude, I can't keep playing with them every game. We lose all the time, and it's super frustrating. Mm-hmm. So, we'd set aside some time where we'd just play together without the two new guys. And I mean, it wasn't to like make them feel bad or anything, but like we couldn't keep playing with them because we knew that we needed a break first. Otherwise, we were going to keep taking that like frustration into game, and it was going to put them off of playing the game too. Yeah. And we wanted them to keep playing because we knew like there was going to be a point where they were going to, really get with it and be able to play at the same level as we were.
It's really funny. Remember, they're not the problem. You are. You are entering into an elo that you don't belong in, and you are trying to face off against people that are one or two might be on your level, and then the rest probably aren't. So, it's kind of a little unfair just inherently when you're level 30 playing without other people that are level 30. So, I mean, at that level, you need to understand that what you're doing, it's fine. I'm not reprimanding you whatsoever, but you're stacking the odds already in the system. I mean, it's not meant to function like that. It's never meant to function like that. So, I mean, if you want to not lose 80% of your games, my advice is to not play them. So.
Yeah, you have to be okay with losing them if you're going to keep playing with them.
Absolutely have to.
On some level. So
and they also need to make that choice too, because it's also their games that they're losing, and I promise you they're probably winning more games without you around than with you. I would know. I've done this with 3 or 4 groups of friends,
right?
And 2, I think, out of the 3 or 4 have told me I win more games when you aren't around because I'm matching people my level, and they're all my level.
That added with the benefit that they've been playing with higher level people. They're like more experienced than the people that are actually their level too. So when they go back into those games, they're really at a higher MMR.
They also don't,
or at least they feel like it.
They also don't feel pressured to perform because you're not there scrutinizing their every move. So they can make those mistakes, maybe not know it was a mistake, without being like, oh shit, I screwed up in front of Azdorish and now I'm boned. He's gonna think I'm bad.
I think that every time we play together.
True.
Because you all. I just want to.
I just want to impress you so much.
You can't do it.
I can't. Okay. So let's move on to the next question here. Cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So this one's from Toxic Benzie. He says, I got to gold 4 in season 4 and silver 2 in season 5, and I started doing my promos. I already have 1 win and 4 losses, so I'm obviously declining. Whereas in normals, I feel like I perform better and I have more of an impact in the game. I usually play normals or ARMs to warm up, and then I try to play 1 or 2 to 3 rank games per day. Could you really use the help? Thank you.
I think you're looking at too small of a pool, honestly. Like, that's 5 games. I mean, maybe you're just having a bad week, dude. I mean, it happens. My best advice is just to keep playing more games, and with games, you get yourself out of those funks. Like, if you said you were in gold, you must have got, especially gold 4, you had to have gotten gold 4. I mean, that takes skill. Like, the silver to gold border is not that. I mean, it's easy-ish comparatively to the gold to plat, but
it's
silver to gold.
It takes playing
still
games.
Good. Yeah, it still requires you to play a decent amount of games and be at least somewhat knowledgeable about the game. So I mean, if you're looking at 5 games at the beginning of a new season that you don't even know really everything about, obviously you're gonna have some issues. So play more games, take it easy, don't stress too much. Seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
When you say in there. Yeah, where you say in there, whereas in normals I feel like I perform better and have more of an impact on the game, it probably means that it's a lot of it may be an anxiety thing, like the ranked anxiety that we've talked about before.
Oh, yeah.
So try to just relax, step back, maybe. And the cool thing about dynamic queue, maybe try playing with friends. And seeing if that helps you, like playing with a friend, if it eases your nerves a bit and stuff like that. also you have to remember too, like the rankings are a little weird this season due to dynamic queue. Like everything is still kind of normalizing, um, due to the uh, have necessarily, like if you have pre-mades and stuff, you don't necessarily have that much closer MMR among the game. Like it's more running off of a median MR where everyone on each team averages out to about this, whereas before it was everyone was around this elo or MMR. So that can affect it a bit, and I would say that everyone should expect to be a little bit lower, and that's okay. So don't get disheartened and just keep on it, and wherever you place. And if you just kind of focus and, maybe if you play a ranked game and you lose a ranked game, stop playing ranked for the day, So just, take it easy and relax and really, look at the difference between your normal games, but also remember that there's more things factoring in on the general skill level in the games now versus past seasons.
Yeah, I really agree. Like it probably is more of an anxiety thing, and you have to remember, especially this season. I mean, if you've gotten to gold in the past, I know you can do it again, and especially I remember if this season there is also that protection where if you've been in a promos before, you'll start the next promo with 1 win automatically. So the system's like trying to make sure that as long as you're playing consistently and you're playing enough games, you'll keep going back up the ladder here. You just have to keep playing. You may have hit a bad streak initially, but that'll end if you're just focused on playing to the best that you can, like you do in normals.
Just keep at it, man. Just keep at it. Like and don't let yourself get disheartened to the point of like going down so hard on yourself to where you just like, I'm freaking done. Like that's at that point you are done. You've already said it to yourself and you've concluded that you're done with this game. So I mean, if you are at that point, then yes, just stop playing for the day. But if you can stop yourself from getting there, I can guarantee you're going to enjoy yourself more and you'll win more.
Yeah. Any other points you guys want to add to that?
No. Good.
Sure. Okay. So who wants to take the next one here?
I like this guy's name. Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
It comes from Nublord. He writes in saying, so far I dedicated about a month each to practicing different skills. CSing, map awareness, vision control, stuff like that so far. However, the more I learn and listen to your podcast, the more I realize how little I know. My question is, thank you, by the way. Appreciate the compliment. My question is it better to be godlike at a few things and mediocre at others, or would it be better to try and improve slightly at every aspect of the game? Should I focus on a few core skills, or should I switch it up every few days and improve across the board? I would love to hear your opinion on this. I have a lot of opinion on this.
Yeah,
right.
Really, really interested to hear.
I think it's good to have like a baseline competency on all things. Like you have a general knowledge, how to lane, how to split push, how to take objectives, how to CS, how to watch your map, all that stuff. If you have a baseline at that, and then I think there are a few core areas that you should really definitely focus on. One of them I think you're nailing is definitely CS.
Yes.
And map awareness.
Yeah.
If you can focus on those two things and become, like you said, godlike at those two, that'll put you in gold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a few theories actually on this. To be honest, I don't really think that they're mutually exclusive. I don't think that you have to necessarily only focus on fundamentals and not hyper-analyze other aspects of your game. I don't necessarily think that players cannot do that. I think that most players cannot do that. And that's why this question is brought up so often, is a lot of players cannot work on so many things at once, and especially hyper-analyzing specific aspects of their play. Now, the average player base bronze, silver, they work on a few things at a time, maybe one thing specifically. However, a lot of better players, you'll note that they're always thinking and constantly about multiple things, and they're always working on many, many different aspects of their game. They do focus a lot on other specific parts, but it's usually like, I'm going to focus a lot on this, and then I'm going to focus a lot on this, and then I'm going to focus a lot on this in different parts of the game. My point being is that, like I said, I don't think that they're necessarily mutually exclusive. However, you do notice that one does come before the other. Fundamentals is usually granted the better choice in almost every single sport or competitive game. An understanding of core fundamentals is a must for you to perform at a set standard. Now, there are some people that just understand that, and you may not need to focus on fundamentals. And that's something that you yourself are going to have to decide. There are some people that are just naturally gifted at specific things like mechanics and the ability to last hit, and they like that timing just comes with them. That rhythm is just inherent. So depending on what you're good at, and this is the kind of like the question is, you need to focus on what you need to work on the most. And that sounds counterproductive. It doesn't sound like an answer, but it is the end result that you're looking for, correct? And how best to make yourself get above that level, you want to step up and take away from your lowest aspect. So if you're terrible at something, working on that is generally the best thing to do. Granted, you have a decent understanding of fundamentals. I still think that fundamentals are the must. If you understand fundamentals, every other aspect of the game will come somewhat naturally. Maybe not all the way, but somewhat naturally.
Yeah, I want to go back to like what you said at the very beginning of the question here. Sure. Like you're spending a month on like different skills. You really have to do these every day.
Yes, absolutely.
Like the fundamentals, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially something like CS.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If you just do it for a month, it will decay. You never go into another sport or another skill or anything that you want to learn and say, okay, I'm going to focus on just this for 1 month and that I'll move on. It's repetition, constantly reinforcing that every single day that you go in. I think especially with CS, it's really good. Like if you're looking to start up doing ranked, maybe spend 10 minutes in a custom game just practicing CSing in different ways.
So helpful.
Pushing the wave, shoving the wave.
Absolutely.
Controlling everything going on in there. And then take that into your regular play and, focus on seeing what transfers, what's not working still. And yeah.
Yeah, and if you're finding that you're having trouble, like things that you think you're mediocre at, I really recommend recording your games and then going back and watching them and picking out like one or two things from that game that you're like, all right, as a whole, I would really like to work on X, and make that your next goal. So really focus on that one thing while keeping the other things in mind, but really focus on that one thing. And then once you feel that you're like, all right, I really got this now, then watch another replay and look at another thing and see what else you pick out, and just kind of, make those small little goals. So, find those weaknesses in your replays, and then just say, okay, so obviously I focus on CS and map awareness and vision control. That's great. Those three mechanics are huge and something you should always focus on. Now, okay, I am not managing the wave correctly, so I'm going to really focus on wave management now. And once you feel like you really got that down, then go, okay, I'm going to really focus now on, I notice that I'm not trading well, so now I'm going to really focus on trading and go from there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Another suggestion for you, find quick ways to work on fundamentals. Like we mentioned custom games because that's a really good way. There are a lot of different ways that you can quickly brush up and warm up to the, I mean, if time is an issue for you, which I know for a lot of people it is, there are ways for you to quickly practice your fundamentals and get in the habit of things like that. I would highly suggest things like Osu and Invisible Mouse Clicker, games like that. That allow
that's actually in another question here.
Do multiple things.
Yep.
So I mean, stay tuned for that question. Hopefully, we get to that one and we can talk about some of those other things. But I feel like we should move
Yeah.
on.
Well,
Yeah,
well,
let's.
hold on. I wanted to
Oh, you
bring
have
up
something?
one thing quick.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I brought this up on the show before. This is actually my notepad that I started writing in when I wanted to really start getting better at the game. So, like, after every game, I would go back, watch the replay, and write down things that I did wrong, things that I did right. So, like, this is from October 17th, 2013. I was playing Ezreal with a fiddle in my lane. This is what I wrote. Number one, why do you have to get hit by every thresh hook? Number two, land your fucking Qs. Number three, know when you can flash aggressively. Number four, work on your last hitting in the early laning phase. Number five, it's a Jinx W, not hard to dodge, idiot. Number six, time your barrier better. And number seven, pay attention to who was low after a team fight for ults.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I just did that every game to really get a better sense of, okay, what I need to work on per game, and also what I can focus on when I go into the next game. Okay, I can concentrate more this game on doing certain things just so I can get into better habits of doing that. Really just writing it down and keeping better track of it helps you to cement, I think, stuff beyond the fundamentals that you can just practice. Really getting that game knowledge down and learning to take away more from the games that you play so you get the most out of them.
Yeah, it's really awesome when game knowledge just becomes like second nature to you. Like you know and feel things because you've just known it for so long that it's just natural now.
Yeah.
So, it comes with a
So
price.
cool.
Though.
Moving on now.
It comes with a price.
Right.
So, yeah. So I will. I'll take this next one. This is from Force Porridge. So Force Porridge, just want to give a shout out to him. I ran into him. I met him in the Just Okay Gamer Discord, actually, and he actually started listening to us because of hearing about us because of the Inter Podcast tournament. So I thought that was really cool. You know, he was a fan of Just Okay, and then
Awesome.
started listening to us after that tournament. So, awesome.
We really appreciate
So,
that. Thanks.
yeah.
Stop it. Stop it.
Doing your Guido. So Forrest said, "Hey boss, so here's my statement with an ending question. It seems like the prevailing advice of your podcast is that if you're new to the game, you should stick with mastering easy champions. Unfortunately to me, easy typically means boring. And regardless of how much easier it is to play Annie, I'd much rather wreck people with Ryze or Anivia, regardless of perceived difficulty or how poor my KDA or win rate is. Would you guys mind playing devil's advocate and listing some reasons for mastering more difficult champions? Much appreciated."
Yeah.
I thought we had a good mix here.
I'm actually
Where
all encouragement for you to try and learn harder champions as a new
Well, I think like the advice of the podcast has been a little bit split. I think first and foremost, we advocate for people to play what they think is fun and interesting.
Absolutely.
I say every time it comes up, play every single champion when it's in the free rotation, just so you have a taste of them, see what you like. Because, I mean, if it's not fun, there's no point in playing them. When it comes to like learning certain mechanics or starter champions that have, a little bit easier time doing certain things, I think that there is a little bit of precedent, to say, okay, here, start out with this champion just so you get a taste of doing this. And then if this is kind of what you like, here are some more difficult champions that you can move to that have the same sort of move set, same sort of core mechanics, but are a little bit higher risk reward.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and a lot of examples we can easily provide. For example, Annie is a great champion for you to learn how to engage with because she can just teach you how to use your flash ult really quickly. She teaches you, and I say flash ult really quickly, there's a lot of champions that flash ult. A lot of champions.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and like she's a very simple champion that can teach you one very specific aspect of the game. And when you learn how to do it on somebody simple, then you migrate that info, that second nature that you've mastered, you migrate that over to a more complex champion. Now you don't need to think about what the most important thing you need to do is. Now you can focus on the intricacies. Now you can focus on getting your orbs down as Syndra. Now you can focus on getting your barrel in the proper place as Gragas. Now you can focus on getting your team in the proper place before you Sona Flash. Like, these are all ways that you can make yourself not worry about the core aspect of the player, or the champion, I'm sorry. And that is, what you utilize them most for. For Annie, her Flash Ultimate, because her engage is just so quintessential in her kit. So that's an example of, like, something we would say, you should master. However, I am all encouragement for trying new champions and getting your feet.
Would I ever advocate for someone to play more of the difficult champs when you're starting out? I really don't know. Like, I can see possibly a reason, like, here's Riven. If you don't play her well, you're going to suck massive balls.
Yep.
Just massive balls.
And feed massively.
So here is this champion. You can take her into a game and keep focusing on your combos, getting in every little bit of damage that you can. If you want to start out doing that, you have a better idea transferring towards other champions how to work in combos. That possibly could be one reason, but I would never really say, okay, here's a really difficult champion, start out with them, see where it takes you, unless, like, that's the champion they know they really want to play.
And honestly, I don't believe you when you say that you want to play a champion just by looking at them. Because if you're brand new to the game and there's 100 and some odd champions that you probably haven't played,
27, 28.
I promise you don't know, like, which champion is your champion. It took me 4.5 years to find my champion. Like, you just can't tell me that you found it. I don't believe you. Unless you played every single champion, I don't believe you.
Love at first sight. You don't believe it? Love at first sight.
No, I don't believe in love at first sight. God, no. It's fucking.
Oh.
That's a fairy tale made up to make people feel butterflies and feel nice about themselves. It doesn't exist. Hard work, dedication. That's what's important. Like, you find something that you enjoy and you want to be good at it and you really like it and enjoy it and it makes the game very fun for you. Then you learn.
And today we learned.
And that's what
Michael does not like any.
I did not like Lux when I first started her. Like, I just didn't.
Oh,
I
no,
didn't
I was
enjoy
going to
her.
say you absolutely hate all Disney movies.
No, I don't hate all Disney movies.
So fucking wrong, man.
No, I like Lion King. I like Toy Story. I like plenty of Disney movies.
Yes.
It's not just some fairy godmother bullshit.
It's not. It's not.
So, I mean, my thing I can throw in on this Force Forge is
No. Go ahead. Sorry.
So like my favorite champ is Wukong. He's not necessarily a mechanically easy or boring champion, as you would say. He's not super straightforward. You really have to learn the intricacies of, like, using stop jukes and W and stuff like that. That's like the bread and butter of his kit. They really went into it in the Patreon Wukong episode. So if you're not a patron, I really recommend that. I listened to it. I freaking loved it. But we don't necessarily say easy champs. It's if you're really focusing on mechanics, if you grab a champion that you like, the main thing is it has to be a champion you like. But if you like that champion, and maybe there's like an easier version of them where they're a little more forgiving, and you can play that easier champ and really know them inside and out, and then really start to focus on that champion and get them down to where you can, like, the actual mechanics of the champion or anything you really have to think of. They just kind of come natural. And you can really focus on the actual aspects of the game. It will help you a ton. I think that really is where we come from. We don't necessarily advocate, go simpler, but if it's a case where you're playing these really complex champs and you don't even have down like the basics like CS and vision control and stuff, maybe it's time to step it back.
We didn't.
Um,
We didn't answer his question. I feel bad, and I kind of want to address it because I feel like we
What?
didn't answer his question. Like, would
Playing
you guys
devil's
mind
advocate?
playing devil's advocate? Because I honestly
I
truly
feel
do
like
believe that if you're wanting to get better at the game, you should play easier champions that teach you core aspects that will make you better with better champions. And I do actually believe that, and I think
Yeah.
that he has me
Yeah.
pinned for that one. I legitimately believe that. So in Devil's Advocate, I mean, we didn't answer that. Like, we honestly didn't.
I feel like I tried to with talking about Riven, starting to play her, but
Well, maybe
it's really
I didn't. I felt like I
oh,
did.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's hard to play devil's advocate for that, honestly.
Well, okay.
yeah, I mean when we all have a pretty similar sort of feel on it,
Yeah.
but you know, we're never going to discourage you from playing champs that you just enjoy, that you just are like, man, that champ's just really fucking cool to me. Then play them.
Mhm.
But you know what? Learn their intricacies. And if you're really having trouble with the mechanics, you either have to keep playing them and accept the fact that you're going to lose a lot of games until you really get them down. Or you need to step it back so that you can focus on your core mechanics and maybe go with an easier version, you know, like,
Okay.
so say you like Riven. Riven is a great champ, but if you want an easier version of her, you would
Garen.
go with Garen. Exactly.
I mean, but we're
Yeah,
still going
'cause-
back to. But we're still going back to what our point is. Like,
I-
that's not playing devil's advocate.
Yeah,
we're still doing
yeah.
the same goddamn
I know,
thing.
I know.
Like,
I know,
okay, you want some
it's
honest
hard.
devil's advocate reasons. Yeah, okay, playing a champion that's complicated. Not a lot of people know how to play against them. You pull out somebody like Syndra or Draven. You know, if you're newer at the game, a lot of people haven't seen those champions because, you know, they'll play them once and be like, God, I got shat on. So, you know, you play a couple of rounds with them, you start to get your feel with them. Yeah, maybe you have that advantage because the other player doesn't necessarily know that. Now, if you notice that the other player just doesn't get what your champion does, take advantage of it, abuse the hell out of it, and learn how those advantages can help you in the future. Because remember, you're trying a champion that is a lot more difficult and harder to master than the people that we normally suggest. You know, other
Right.
things that are you need to remember. They teach you very quickly that dying is insanely detrimental because you're going to die a lot. So, I mean, if you want to learn from mistakes, definitely play these champions because you'll make plenty of them.
Yeah, I think like once you get past that initial barrier for those champions, for that high risk reward value, once you get past that and start to really understand their core mechanics after playing them for 50 plus games or more, you can see really what it takes to snowball a champion and what you can really do with that lead over their counterparts that are maybe a little bit easier to play.
Okay, that was a good attempt, so I feel better now.
Okay.
So so I hope that helps out Force Forge, and once again, thanks so much for listening to the show.
Yeah, let's move on to the next question here. We'll take this one by one because this guy has two different questions. So Justin writes, I'm a huge fan of the show. I've been listening since episode 1. Thank you very much. Number 1, can you talk about how to properly use actives like QSS? Do I try to anticipate the CC or do I let it happen and wait? Or something like Zanya's. For me, it became kind of clear when the red X was right on the item.
It's a little bit of both. I mean, you need to know that the CC is coming. If you have QSS, then they may not necessarily throw it on you, and you need to make sure you're utilizing it properly. For example, you cannot QSS Vi when she's coming towards you. However, you can QSS the initial. As soon as she knocks you up and you hit it, you immediately drop back down and you can dip the fuck out. She doesn't have coverage of you anymore.
I mean, I'll say it like this. I mean, if you're grabbing QSS as like someone like an AD carry, you already know why you're getting QSS. So there's no reason to like go into fight and say, okay, I'm using this. I'm going to use it right when, you know, I get stunned by whoever the champion may be, or I'll use it as soon as Zed tries to mark me. All those different things. I, for the most part, I think you really do need to learn to anticipate the CC, and that's not saying use it before it happens. You just have to understand, exactly when you think you're going to use it, because then you get your finger hovering right over it. You know exactly when you're going to do it. You have a quicker reaction time to it.
Yeah. Wait.
Yeah, Zonya.
Oh,
Zonya.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
What Haber said made me think about the question a little bit more. And I think that it's kind of the wrong question in the sense that, do you anticipate or do you let it happen? Sometimes you're going to need to let it happen because that's how you QSS shit. And other times you have to anticipate it and know that it's going to come.
Right.
But the core of it is actually, what do you QSS? And that's what you really need to be asking yourself. Not do I anticipate or let it happen, because that question will be answered when you figure out which spell you're QSSing. So that's what you really need to focus on. What do I QSS? Do I QSS the Taric Stun? Do I QSS the Vi Ultimate? Do I, what exactly am I getting rid of and when? Because that will answer your question, because then you need to know, okay, it's something that I'm going to notice coming at me with my Vi Ultimate, or with Taric's stun, or something that will just happen to you. All of a sudden you're jumped on by Zed. He came out of nowhere, and that's something you have to anticipate and be like, oh shit, now it's happening. Boom, QSS. So
yeah,
what?
And you have to remember too, like you talk about QSS and Zonias, and there's something really key between QSS and Zonias, is that overall QSS is more reactive. So it's the faster you can cleanse yourself, QSS the CC or the stun or the suppression or whatever it is on you, the better shape you're gonna be in, because it allows you to get out of that or start laying down damage back and not take that stun as long and stuff. It's a reactive thing. You have to get hit with it in order to use the QSS, otherwise you're wasting the QSS. However, with Zonias can be either or. Zonias can be a thing where, like, all right, say a TF. So a TF gates right into the middle of the enemy, champs gold cards someone, and then Zonias, because he's expecting everyone to turn on him. But it gives him
a bad play. I'm going to disagree with you right there. I think that's a bad play. I think if you don't know that CC is coming and use Zonias, I'm going to call you out on it every time, because if you just gold card Zonias and you don't throw anything else without confirming that shit is going down before you pop a big spell like that, you could get seriously taken advantage of. They could just leave, and all of a sudden you just blew a 60-second cooldown. They re-engage 2 seconds later when they have a better position. And
true, but one of the big differences between Zonias and QSS is that you can use QSS while you're suppressed or locked down or anything. Yeah. You can't use Zonias while you're stunned or locked down or anything.
Which is why I think it's even more reactive, because you need to know exactly when it's going to happen. You don't have time to lollygag and be like, oh shit, I'm suppressed. Boom. QSS. It happens, or you don't.
Right, like I said, you have to be more reactive with QSS. With Zonias, you have to be more proactive. Like you have to be ready to hit it before the CC hits you.
Sure. I don't think with any of this stuff, you're never really truly reactive at all.
Anticipating. You're always anticipating and reacting at the same time.
If you go into a fight, it's like you got 3/4 of the way through the fight and realized, oh shit, I haven't used my ultimate yet. Imagine if you did that going into the fight. The QSS, Zonias, all that stuff is the exact same thing. Your actives, you have to be proactive in using them. You have to understand, okay, I have my Mercurial Scimitar, or I have my Zonias, or I have the Iron Locket of the Iron Solari, any active item you can think of. It really does take a proactive approach to it, where you have to say, okay, these are the conditions I'm looking for to use this item. As soon as it happens, I'm going to use them. If you have that in mind, you're going to have an easier time, throwing your finger down on that item to get it the most use out of it as possible. If you're just waiting and it's near the end of the fight and you realize, oh shit, QSS is still up, I guess I can use it now, you're really not getting your bang for your buck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why you got to focus on what are you using the spell to break. So figure that out before you use it.
Right. So next question.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next question he asked is, what are the best ways to improve mechanically other than just playing more, which I don't think is really possible. Are there any outside tools, i.e. mouse click games or other games to work on it?
Absolutely. Definitely some mouse clicking games. Osu and Invisible Mouse Clicker is my favorite. I prefer it just because it teaches you. I mean, rhythm is definitely better for if you're playing.
I just like to have fun while I'm doing it.
It's
honestly.
Invisible Mouse Clicker it can teach you a lot about your own, like how you see things and how wrong it is, and how to get more in tune with your mouse. That's for sure.
Yeah, even little things like at the start of a match when you're, maybe waiting around in that, first minute and a half before, minions are in lane, the jungle camp spawn, stuff like that. Even doing little things like picking a couple little points in the area that you're in and just clicking back and forth really quick or clicking yourself into a pattern and stuff. There's so many little times that you can do stuff like that where you can you can kind of focus on that stuff a little bit too, even when you're in game. So don't ever overlook those little random moments,
Mm-hmm.
I might also suggest looking up, theories and concepts behind fundamentals and mechanic fundamentals. A lot of times you can find a greater understanding of a mechanic when you understand why things are done a specific way. So that might also be, prudent for you. Look up why things are done and not just how. Practicing it is important, but if you know why it's done that way, you'll have a better understanding of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You'd be surprised what info will do for your mechanics. I'm serious.
Right. No, I agree.
Yep.
Should we move on to number 3?
Yeah, number 3 is the most important.
I'm a little insulted, like, honestly. I don't talk about her that often.
All right, Justin
Not anymore
said,
so much.
Stop talking about Lux. I'm sick of her supporting me. I know who it is.
To be fair, Lux got buffed, and she's fucking amazing. Like, how can you
she
not
really
appreciate having a Lux?
Right
I think it's specifically support Lux, though.
But even support
which
Lux
isn't
is
bad.
Still good.
Which
it's still good.
Isn't bad. Which isn't bad. It's not bad.
You just need to know how to play it. You need to know that you're a different kind. You're a mixture of utility and DPS, and
but I guarantee
really,
at least half of the time when he gets a support Lux on his team, that's not the case.
They don't know what they're doing. Tell them to be aggressive. Tell them to use Singularity more, and stop being so, like, they need to be spamming their goddamn Singularity as often as they can.
You're lucky we have a producer right now. Otherwise, Michael just would have put in Lux Jam over that entire last part.
True.
I kind of want him to.
Which Grey Light may still do that.
Right.
So, yeah. So
do we have time for another one?
I don't know. We're kind of pushing it.
Yeah, we're pushing it. So let's what do you guys say we wrap this week up?
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's wrap this episode up. We have a few more questions, so we'll get to Alex C. and Michael's questions probably in the next episode here. We want to thank you guys for listening so much. Really appreciate your support. Please join us Saturday, like we said, for the Trinity Force inter-podcast tournament. The first match is going to be Four Words versus the LCS Rundown crew. So after that, we'll go on to face.
They got a secret weapon.
Yeah, after that, it doesn't matter what they have. it's those guys. I mean, come on. They talk about playing League all day. They don't actually play League. So they talk about other people playing League better than them, rather than actually playing League. So then we'll go on.
They're the ones that don't play League.
Yeah, then we'll go on to beat the Trinity Force proper in the next round and go from there. So cheer us on. Please join us and donate for some fun. And thank you guys so much. For
if you got any suggestions of what you want to hear in our upcoming Euro podcast, any specific topics you feel like would be a good thing to do a whole episode about, let us know. Email us, shout us out on Twitter. We're always looking for new suggestions. We want to talk about what you guys want to hear about, what you think will help contribute the most to your own gameplay. So hit us up if you think, we need to touch up again about a specific topic, or you want to hear something new. Just let us know.
Yep.
Yeah. Other than that, anything else you guys want to say?
Nope.
All right.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Right. Hopefully we'll be back with a full crew here next week to talk more League of Legends with you. So, but for now, it's been great hanging out with you guys. We'll see you next week.
Later,
Bye.
Bye.